Alright, so welcome back. This is another tutorial, another video that I'm going to share with you how we are going to create a CRUD operation system with Laravel and React. But we'll have the help of Inertia.js, and this is our task that we are going to cover. Firstly, I'm going to introduce to you why we are going to create this project. Also, I'm going to show you why we are using Inertia.js. Also, I'll show you how we can set up the Laravel project with Inertia.js, which will help us to work with the React. Also, we are going to see how you can authenticate your users using Laravel and the React. And then we are going to perform the CRUD operations, meaning that we are going to create the data, we are going to read them, update and delete them. Okay, so first of all, on the introduction part, you need to see this thing. If you go to Laravel documentation here on the part of getting started, and you go to the front end section, you will see you can create the front end section of your Laravel application using PHP, meaning that inside it you are going to create your front end or the client side using PHP and Blade, Livewire, or you can use any starter kits that you have. But the second way is using Vue or React, which are JavaScript front-end frameworks. Okay, so on today's video, as I've said before, we are going to see how we are going to create using React. So in simple way that I can explain is that we are going to use Inertia to answer this question here. We are going to use Inertia simply because if you will not use Inertia, meaning that you are going to create two projects and you will have, let's say, two different repositories. Okay, so the one will be for Laravel as your API, and the second one will be for the React application. Okay, but for that thing, it becomes a little bit challenging for you to manage those two projects. And you can see here there is a little explanation here, but the issue that left is this one. Developers are left maintaining two separate code repositories, often needing to coordinate maintenance, you can see, releases and deployments across both repositories. Okay, so while these problems are not insurmountable, we don't believe it's a productive or enjoyable way to develop applications. So this is the only thing that made me like to share this video, because first, also me, I used it to create the Laravel applications, and then I'm creating the React application as a separate or two separate applications, and then I'm going to manage those two repositories in different ways, which was creating a two-way job, which was a little bit difficult to manage. So for the time being, we have come with this one, Inertia. Okay, so this Inertia, I'll show you here why I'm going to use Inertia. You can see Inertia is not a framework, as you can see here, but it's just a way that you can think of Inertia as a glue that connects the two, meaning that the client side and the server side of your applications. Okay, so with Inertia, we can just create a single Laravel application, but it may include your React as a front-end framework within the same code repository or the code base. Okay, so I think I may be a little bit not that good in explanation, but I think you may understand why I'll use Inertia, because this explanation also and how we are going to create the application, you will get the concept as why we need to choose Inertia to create our Laravel application, and then we can have the ability to work with the React. Okay, so for now these two, I'll tick them. Then we are going to see how we are going to set up a Laravel project with Inertia. Then we can work with the React. So simply because I'm going to authenticate our users, so from here I'm going to use Laravel Breeze. Okay, so I'll use Breeze to authenticate our users, but still we are going to use React. So to do that, what you need to do, I'll show you from scratch. I'll start by creating my view. I'll start by creating my Breeze. I'll start by creating my Laravel application, and then I'll install Breeze with React as our front-end framework. So let's start by doing that thing very quickly. So I'll go to my directory here where I'm going to create my project. Then I'll open the git bash. Then I'll run this command, Laravel new. Then I'll create Laravel React app. Then enter. Then this one will start it by asking you this question. So I'll use Breeze. So I'll type Breeze. Okay, then here you'll be asked which stack, Breeze stack you are going to use. So for the now, I'm going to use this one, which is React. So I'll just type React, and you can see here it will say React with Inertia. Okay, so let's go with that one. Then for now, I'll just leave it like that. I'll not choose anything, so it will choose none. Then for the test, let's go with paste, and then I'll say yes. So this one will start by creating this project. So when it will be complete, we'll back and continue. Okay, so while the project is being created, I just want to say this thing. I'm doing this simple project, and which is just a CRUD operation project with the React and Laravel, simply because when I started to create a little bit bigger projects with this technology, I want you to be aware of what is going on. So that's why I've created this simple application that will help you to get with this one and to understand what will be going on. So let's wait for the intro for the installation, and we'll continue. So now it will ask you which database application you are going to use. So I'll just say MySQL, and then I'll say yes. And then after that, you will see it will start to create the React application, as you can see. So let's wait for that one using Breeze. So now you can see the full installation of everything is done. As you can see, this is all of the processes that we have passed in order for you to create that project that we have, as you can see. So make sure you have something like this one. Okay, so this is how the application is get installed. So let me go inside this application. So just go cd Laravel React app. Then I'll open it in my VS Code. Alright, so this is my project on my VS Code, and I just want to run it, and you can see what is going on. So let's start by running the PHP at save, and also npm run dev. Okay, so let me go to this link. So here is my project, which is up and running, as you can see. So here you have the option of login and register, simply because I've installed with the Laravel Breeze, which is authentication starter kit, but it is purely created with React.js, and the backend, or the backend which control the authentication, is our Laravel application. Okay, so I'm going to show you simply how this thing is done. So for now, you can just register here. You can just register your users. Let's say, let me create this sample users. So when you click register, you can see that user is being created. You can go to the profile. You see, you can just update any of these details. Like here, I just want to change this email, let's say, to be 74, and then save. Then you can see this thing is saved. And when I'll go back to dashboard and go back to profile, you can see the email is right here. Okay, so this is how the authentication is done. You can just log out and then you can log in. Okay, so this one is not my email, I've changed it, so you can see the authentication is working perfectly. You can see the validation here. Yeah, this one will say does not match our records, so let me just change it to be 74 and then enter my password. Yep, you can see I've successfully logged in, and here is the text. Okay, so this is all about the authentication. So just want to show you how the authentication is being implemented. So when you go to your application here, you can see on the composer JSON file, you can see we have Inertia Laravel, which is version 1.1, and you can see we have Sanctum here, which is used for API tokenization. Okay, but also we have Breeze, which is for the authentication. Then when package.json, you can see we have these React, some of the plugin for the React. As you can see, all of these are for the React. You can see Tailwind here and so on. So this is how this actually works. So let me show you the authentication. So when you go to your application, all your React components will be stored on resources, then on the JS. Then inside it, you can see we have components, layouts, pages, and we have this app.jsx. Okay, you can see on app.jsx, this is how it looks, and you can see this is purely the React application. You can see on pages, you have authentication pages, you have profile, you have the dashboard, which is this one, and you have the welcome page, which is this one, which is our welcome page that we see there. Okay. On the authentication, you can see this is the component for the authentication. You have the login here, which is this one. Which is a page here. If you go back to the login page, so this is the page that I'm showing you here. If you want to see how what is there, let me change it, just say like sign in, and you can see the button is changed to sign in. So this is a component that is working for our project. Okay, so all these components, if you have ever used the React, meaning that this will be the simple thing for you. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I just want to go direct and show you how we can create our CRUD operation. Okay, you can see this is how we have set up our Laravel project with Inertia. So for the authentication, I think I'm clear. So let's perform this this thing. I think this one is one of the thing that will make you understand how we are the routine we have in order for your application to work out. Okay, so let me just log in and create those functionality. Okay, so let me log in with my email. Let me do my password. Yeah, so right now I'm here. So I want to create the new link here, which is will be my another option. So I'll go here and start to manage my users. Okay, so let me close this one and let me go to my layout. And here you have two layouts: the authenticated layout for the users that have logged in successfully, and this one is for the guest layouts. Okay, so let me go to authenticated layout. As you can see, we have the navigation link here. So this is the component that is found here on components. These are the basic components that the Laravel team have created for you. You can see that is the nav link, which is this one. So it's there for you. You can just use it in a way that it fits. So let me go here, and here I want to create another link which will be for my user management. So I'll just say user management. Okay, so let me create the controller. Actually, using the Laravel Inertia, you will still create the controllers as before. So let me create the controller here, which will be used to manage my users. So HP @sun make controller, which will be user controller. Okay, let me go to my controller, and here I'll just create the first function, which will be load users. And then here, what you need to do, you need to return the inertia render. Okay, so let me show you how to return that one. So you need to return inertia, not this one. I just want to use the inertia helper class, which is this one. Then I'll say render, and here the first parameter is the name of your component, which is found here on the JS. Then in whatever the directory you put the component, it will be you should pass the component here. So for this one, I just want to create another directory here inside the pages. Then I'll create the directory which is called the users, and inside it I'll create a single component which is called the users.jsx. Okay, so here we'll have the component, so I'll just go RFCE, which will create this one, and here you will see we'll have these users. So I just want to render this component. So let me just say here, we will go to users, then users.jsx. So here it will be users/users. Okay, meaning that this will render our users component, which is this one. Okay, so this is how this one goes, but remember to import this one. Okay, so now let's create the route for this one. So simply because we are going to use the Laravel routes, so here just to create this route, our route will be route, then will be the get route, which will be let's say users, which call the users controller, user controller. and it will call a function which is called load users, and then the name of the route will be users home, or let me just say users dot index, and then let's use this route on our authenticated layout component. So here we'll paste that one, which will be here and here, to see if the route is currently active or not. Okay, so now if we have this one, which is our route, and if this one is working fine, when you go to a dashboard like this one, when you navigate to this one, you will see users, which is the text that we have rendered from the component which is called users. So if I change here, like say like user management, or let me just split this screens so that you can see what I'm doing. You can see now it's say users, so let me just say like user management, and now you can see user management. Okay, so here I just want to show the list of users that is coming from the database. So to do that, I just want to use the table from Preline UI. So I just go to Preline UI. So let me go to Preline UI. So I just go to Preline UI, and then I'll go to components. I'll go to example pages. So let's go to examples, and then I want to go and look for tables. Okay, but this one is a little bit complicated, so let me just go to Hyper UI. Let me go to marketing and find the tables. I think it's for the application UI. Yeah, so here we have the tables. So let me just use this one. Okay, so I'll just change it to JSX, and then I'll copy the code, and then I'll just paste that code here. So let me just return this as that one, and then let me paste the code. Now you can see we have the list of our users. So let me go back here, and then we'll remove this one, and then here I'll have the heading 2, and then I'll just say like user management, and then the class name, which is for the React, then I'll say text 2x large, and then I'll say font medium. Okay, then I'll say text center. Yep, so then I just want to make a little bit this one after some padding, so I just say some padding of 10. Yeah, so this one is looking nice. So for now, what I want to do, I just want to show the real data here. So to do that, let me start by editing the table. So we'll have the name, we'll have the, here I'll just say date of registration. Then here we'll have the email, and here we'll have the date of updates, or we can just say last update. last updated. Okay, then here on the body, I'll just remove these two remaining row, which is table rows, and in this one we will show the real data. Okay, so to do that, let's go to our controller and return the list of users here. So we just say users, and we'll get the user model, and then we'll get all our users. Let's import this one, which will be this one. So import this one, and then here we are going to pass it as a parameter, which is users. Okay, so then we need to accept this in our component here. So we'll accept it here, and we'll just say users. Okay, so now if I console this one, so let me just say console.log users. Then if I refresh this one and open the console, okay, so this one is undefined. Let me just see here. All right, so here I've said the user, this should be users. Okay, so let me just refresh. Now you can see we have the array here, which contain the details of our user. Okay, so let me just try to show this user. Now let's go to our component, which is our React component, and then here what we need to do, we need to run them on a map. So what we are going to do, so here we'll say like this one, and then we'll say users, which is users here. Okay, then we'll say dot map, then we'll say we'll map this one to task, user, then we'll say uh, then here we will have this one, then inside it we are going to pass this table row. So let me cut that one and paste it here. Okay, so now you can see we don't have any error. So let me just split this one a little bit, and now we can just use this user to show details on our table row here. So here we need to show the name, so just say user dot name to get our username, as you can see, and then here we need to get the date, so just say user dot created at, here we'll have the email, so we just say user dot email, and lastly we are going to get the updated at, so just say user dot updated at. Okay, so this is how we are going to show our users. So if now you see, now we have this kind of details, which is our users details. Okay, so now if we need to show the layout here in order for us to be able to navigate back to the dashboard. So to do that, we need to, let's say, to wrap this one with the authenticated layout. So authenticated layout. Okay, which is a component. Okay, so let me just paste it down here, and then make sure this one is imported. So let me just say like authenticated layout. If it's not imported is automatically, let me just copy this one, and then let me use it here. Okay, but here we need to pass the details of our user. Like as you can see here, we have the user. Okay, so let me copy this one, and I'll paste it here. But here we'll pass just the list of our users here. No, I mean the details of our authenticated user. So to get our authenticated user, we need to say like our user will be equal to auth, then user. Okay, then we are going to pass it here as a parameter. So just say user will be pointing to our user. Okay, then we have something like this. So this user will be this one, which we will use here. So here, if we will accept this parameter, so let me just put it like this way, and then if we'll show this user, let's just console and see. Let me just refresh. Now you can see we have the user here. Okay, so let's just use that user here. So let me remove this auth and just use this user, and now you can see we have this one working simply because this one accepts this user and it's going to use it here on authenticated layout. Down here you can see we are accessing the username and the email on the dashboard here on our layout. So now you can see you can navigate back to dashboard and go back here, and you can see the details of our user. So now let's quickly add the delete button here and implement the functionality for the edit and the delete. Okay, so let's start with this one very quickly. And here we can just add the button for adding new users. So let's do that one. So let me close this one, and if I go back here, what I want to do, I want to create another component for the table. I want to remove this table here for the good code written. So let me just create the table. Oh, let me just create this one on the components here. So I just call it table.jsx, and then I'll say RICE, which will give me this one. And then here I just want to copy this or to cut this one, which is a table. So let me cut that one and then paste it inside this one. So we don't need these two divs, so let me just remove them and paste that code. But remember, here we are accessing these users, so we need to accept that one as a parameter, which is our users. And then we can call the table here, table component. So let's call that one table. And then we need to pass the users, which is this one. Okay, so let me copy let me just show it here, which is users, and let me close this component. Okay, so now if we refresh this page, we will see the same result as you can see. So I've just created the component which is independent to this page. Okay, so as you can see, now the code is actually looking good. So now what we need to do, as you can see here, the title is not showing. So to add the title, as you can see, if you come back to the dashboard, this is the ID title. So let me just do that title here, uh, here, and make sure you import this one. So let me just copy that one and paste it here. No, I mean on users, and paste it here. And this one will be user, or let me just say users. And now you can see we have users here. Okay, so that is how simply you need to do this thing. So let's edit the user and also delete the user. So let's implement that one very quickly. So to be able to edit the user, we need this one will be for edit, and let me just add another one for delete. So this one will be delete, and this one will be red, and this one will be edit. Okay, so now we have these two button, but on hover this one should be also red. So let me just put it 500, and on hover I'll just say red with 700. That one is fine, like this one. Okay, so now to be able to delete this one, you need to create the route for that. So let's just say like delete user, then we can, so here we need to pass the user .id. So in order for this one to work out, we need to add this escape characters. So let me just start with this one. So let me just add the escape and put this one in this. All right, so we don't need this one. So the escape will be inside here, and here we'll have something like this. And then what we need, so here we need to, okay, I see the error here. This one should be here. Yeah, so this is how it actually need to be look. Okay, so this one will also use it on edit. So here we'll have something like that. So let me just remove this one, and here we'll say edit user. Okay, so now if you go to view, and if you hover, you will see down here on my left bottom side, it shows the edit user with the ID of 1, and also on delete you will see that one also. So now let's just create these routes. So let's go to our web and create those two routes for the edit and delete. So let me just say like edit slash user slash, here we'll have the user ID. Okay, so here we'll say like load edit form, which will be edit, or we can just say users edit, and here it will be users delete, which will be delete user, which will be here delete slash user slash our user ID. Okay, so this one is working fine, but here we will have the post which will be, actually we don't need it simply because I've used this one. So you can change this one to post, and here you can just use the form, but for the simplicity I'll just use this get. And now let's create these two functions on our user controller. So here I'll just say public function load edit form. It will accept the user ID, and then we can return inertia, then we can render the component for the edit. So we can just call it user simply to be stored on users. So then you can say edit form. Okay, remember we will have to pass the details for our user here, which is this one for our logged in user. So let's paste it here, and also we need to pass the detail of our user that we want to delete. So here we need to get the user, or we can just say edit user, or we can just say user details. I think this one is fine, and you can just say user and then get, or we can just say find the user with that ID. Okay, but the authenticated user, we can just copy this one and paste it here. Okay, so then we need to pass this one also, user underscore details, then it will point off to user details. Okay, so let's create this component which will load this function. So let's create that component on pages, then on users. All right, so let's create this component which is edit form. So let's create that one here, .jsx. Okay, then rfce. But remember, you can write these short forms of creating this one if you have this extension. I want to show you this one. Make sure you have installed this component which is called ES7, which is for the React, and also you have installed I think that one is very is the one for the React. Okay, so just install that one, just search for ES7 and that one will work out. Okay, so this one will be our edit form. So now let's try to visit the edit route, which is this one, and then let's see if the page will work for that. So let's refresh and then go to edit, and now you can see edit form. Okay, so now let me just put it this way, and then let me go to hyper and let me search for the form. Let me try to find a certain form here. Let me just say this one. Oh, this one is not fine. Just find another form. Let's go to home. Okay, so simply because we need to just to create a user, just a sample form. Let me just use this one, and then this one will be sign in. Okay, so I think this one is fine for the time being. Let me just copy this one. I just want to make this one very easy. So let's create that component here. I'll just say like it should be called the edit. No, I think I've messed up this one. This one is right here. So let me just paste it inside this one. Okay. And then let me remove this one. And now if you go back, we need to see this form. Yeah. So we have this form here, and I'll just remove this one. So this one is, we don't need this one. And this one should be saved. Okay. So for our users, this input we can just change them. So here we will use the one which is in components here. So I'll just use the input text input, which is this one. Okay, so let me just replace this one with our text input. Okay, so let me remove this one. Let me remove this one, and let me remove this input. Okay, so now this one we will need to call the text input, text input. Okay, and let me just close it. And now if you see, we'll have something like this. So I'll just say class name, then we can just say width should be full, like this one. Okay, so then we can just say placeholder will be email. Okay, but I think this one is already okay. So this one will be for the email. So I want to copy paste this one for the name. Okay, so this one is for the name, and here it will be name. Okay, as you can see, we have the name, email, and here we need to add the one for the password and for the confirm password. So let's add the one for the password and the confirm password. Okay, so for the password, I just want to use this one also. So I'll just remove this one. And then here I just want to add the type. So I'll just say the type of this one will be password. Okay, and this one it will be email, and this one is it will be text by default. So let me just add the one for the confirm password, and actually we don't need it. Actually it's just I just want to add these details for a new user, so we don't need that one. Okay, so in order for us to be able to submit these details, we need to add the functionality here to get the details from the form and actually submit them. So to do that, let's just use this one. I mean to paste it here. Okay, and then what we need to do, we need to add the action here, which is a route which we are going to use. Okay, but instead of having the route here, what we are going to do, we're just going to create the on submit event. Okay, which will create the function which will be called the submit, which will create here. So we'll just say constant submit. Okay, will be equal. Okay, but simply because this one is an event, so here we'll just say like this one will point to this one. Okay, and then here we'll just say e.prevent default. Then down here we can utilize the post function. Okay, like this one, and then here we can pass the route. Okay, and then here you need to pass the name of the route that you are going to send this data. Okay, so for the case of RAS here, we did not create the function to add, so the route, so let's create that one. Let's say route post, then register, or I can just say add user, and then we can just say user controller, and then we can just say add user, we can just say users dot add. So we will call this name and use it in our component here. Okay, so then let's create this function for adding user. So let me just say public function add user. So this one should accept the request, and here we can perform the validation. So we can just say request validate. We can just say we have the name which will be required, and we have the email, and we have the password. Okay, so for now just leave them like that one, and then here we can just say like user dot create, so we can just say the name, we'll set the request name, and then the email will be here, and the password will be here, but this password should be hashed. So I'll just say hash, then make, okay, so let's import this one. Yeah, so make sure you have imported that one, and then here we can redirect our user to our users management. page. So what we can do, we can just say return to route, which is okay. So we can return and redirect our user to users dot index. Okay, so let's just go here and add that one. Okay, so for now, in our edit form, okay, so what I've done here, this one is for the edit, and here I was just saying add. So this one is wrong. Here is edit. Okay, so it is edit. This should be edit user. Users edit is right here, so I just say update. Okay, so this one should be user update here. Okay, so this one is fine, but here we need to add the following details. I'll just show you below. So let me just add them here. Okay, so here what we need to do, we need to add the value which will be equal to, simply because here we need to accept the user details which we have passed here, which is this one, users details. So we need to pass it here as a parameter, and then this one will be used here. So we can just say user details dot name. Okay, so if you go back to the screen, still we have an error here. Okay, so use form is not defined, meaning that we didn't import that one. So let's just import that one. So let's just import this one as this one. Okay, so if you go back here, you can see the name is shown there. Okay, and for the email and password, I think we don't need to edit the password, so that one is not valid. So let me remove that one. I was just misconcepting with the add user. Okay, so now we have this one, so let's just add the one for the email. So this one will be email. Okay, so here on the use form, we need to assign these data to this one. Okay, so here we can just say like data name, and this password we don't need it. Here we can just say data dot email. Okay, so that one we can replace this one with the data. Okay, and also this one. All right, so what I was meaning is only on the form, but here we'll just assign these details to the data, and then that data we can just access them here. Okay, so now if you go back here, you can see the details are shown on your form. Okay, so now what we need to do, so here also we need to add the event of on change of the value of this one. We need to say like this one, event will be pointing to set data, which is a function here for setting state, this one. Okay, so it will set the value of the name to be the value of the target dot value. Okay, so this one will do also for the email. So this one should be email. Okay, so now this thing is fine, and now we can just try to say like this one is not add, it's update. Okay, so now we can just try to update this data, but button here, in order for it to be disabled, we can just say disabled. Then we can just call the processing this one. Okay, yeah, meaning that this button will be disabled while we are sending the request to the server. Okay, so now if I click this one, okay, user edit function, call to undefined function. So let's see on this route. Okay, so I've changed that one to be edit user. Okay, so let's just go back and try to refresh, and then let's say save. Okay, so we need to redirect user. Oh shit, this one should go back to users index. Okay, yeah, so let's try out. So we can just try to see if this request is coming here. Just paste display that one. Yeah, you can see the request is reaching our server. Okay, so here we don't need to create. This one should be update. Okay, and this password should be removed. Okay, then this one, let's just try to update. I can just say like, let's say Shadrach John, and then save. Okay, so redirection is not working. Okay, so here also we need to remove that one, but here we don't have the ID of the user that we are going to edit. So to be able to do that, let me just copy this one and have the hidden value here, which is input. Its type will be hidden. Okay, and here it will be ID. So here also we need to have the user's ID, and here it will be ID. Okay, so this one will not be shown, so actually you don't need to bother. So this one will be ID, and here it will be ID. So this one will be the ID of the user that we are going to use. Okay, so then what we need to do, we need to get that user ID here. So we can just say like we need to update the user with this one. So we'll just say like user will be equal to user, then find the request ID. Okay, then we'll just say user Yeah, so like this one. So for now, we can just test to see if these details we get. So let's just say like user and try to submit this one. Okay, so this one is null. So what we have messed up here, let's just see. Okay, so now let's refresh the page again and save. Now you can see we get the details of our user. Okay, so now meaning that if we remove this one will be updated successful. So let's try to update that one. So let me change this one to John and try to save. Then I will be directed and you can see the name has been updated. Okay, so this is how it actually works with the edit. So now let's work on the delete very quickly. So I'll just create the function for the delete. So I'll just say public function delete user. Make sure this one is the one that is here, delete user. So here we can just say like we need to accept the ID to the user, and here we can just say like user will be this one, then find the user underscore ID, then we can just say user, then delete. Okay, then we can redirect back to this route. Okay, yep, so let's try that one. So try to delete. Okay, so yeah, so this one we want to work since we don't have any user remaining on our system. So what we are going to do here, we need to create another user. So let's go to the register and create a user. Then register. Now you can see on user management we have the user here, but also we have this error because I forgot to add the key on this table, simply because in React you need to pass here the key. So we just say key and we can just say user dot id, which is unique. Okay, and then this error should be removed. If you refresh, you go here, you can see that error has been removed. Okay, so now we need to add one more user. Let me register that user and use this one. So you can see we have two users here. Okay, and their emails you can see, and you can delete one of these. Right, so simply I've deleted the user with the account, that's why you can see the blank page. So this one's a little bit not good, so let me just try to log in with another account, which is this one. And now if you go here, you can see here So what we can do here in order for the user with the same account to not delete their account, here we can just call all the users except the user that has login. So here what you need to do to load the users, we can just say like, let me just put it here, and here we can just say like where id will be not equal to user id. Okay, so let me just put the comma here, and now if we refresh here, you can see the users will be empty. All right, so here you can see we don't see anything because we have this error. The user's map is not a function. See if we get the user. Yep, so this one is working fine. So here we can just use the if condition. Actually, we can just say like, if users, let me just use this one inside this one. Yeah, so this is how this thing actually works. So you may improve this thing and do whatever you think is fine. Okay, so this is how we have created this one. Yeah, so see you on the next video.